Hello, so this wants to be a guide for movable shapes, 7th chords, obviously not the big kind of folk chords like these, if they contain open strings, because those are not movable. These are shapes that are movable, so they only contain fretted notes, and they have a small amount of notes, like 4 or 5 max. So not the big chunky disco 7th chords, so to speak, where you used to play chic, and there's nothing wrong with any of these, absolutely. But this is a slightly different sound. But with these, the great thing about these is that you will be able to play any minor, major, half diminished, and dominant 7 chord, sharp, flat, natural notes. It doesn't matter. You will be able to cover any possible, starting from any possible root, so to speak. So here we go. So I'm going to start by showing you the shapes. Second, we're going to work on the harmonized scale. And third, we're going to use them in context. I'm going to just literally just put a tune, pick up a random tune, and show you how to use them. So the first thing, let's look at the shapes. They're here on the side. You can see there are some notes that are circled. Those obviously are the root notes, the notes that give the name to the chord. And you can see that the top row, the root note is always on the E string, on the low E string. And then on the second row, the root is always on the A string, the 5th string. And then on the last row, the root is always on the D string. These are all root position shapes, they're no inversions. So let's just go through them. So I'm going to start with, let's just pick G as a starting note, but these again, you can use them from any note. So let's pick the first major 7 shape. That's the first chord. That's obviously the root is G, but if I needed B flat, all I need to do is move like any bar chord, and just move that shape where the B flat root note is on the 6th string. So all you need to know, obviously, the notes on the E, A, and D strings. So, which are easily found. So let's look at these shapes. So the first one is a major 7 shape. Then I have a dominant. So the second shape on the first row is a dominant. And then I have a minor 7 chord. That's the third shape on the first row, the top row. This one, a lot of guitarists play this way by barring with their ring finger the D, G, and B string, or this way with your thumb. It's up to you which one you decide. I tend to play this way, but sometimes it depends what you're doing next. So, and then the minor 7 flat 5, or half diminished, which is the last box there on the first row. Let's move to the next row. Now, these are shapes with a root on the A string. So the major 7 is that, dominant 7, minor 7, and minor 7 flat 5. Now, we're going to play the major 7 shape with a root on the D string. Now I'm going to just use F to stay in that position. Play it this way, or this way. Remember that these are just some of the shapes that you can use, not the only shapes. Let's say for this one, F major 7, I could use that, or A major 7 shape like that. Okay, these are some of the shapes, but there should be plenty to get you going. The next one is dominant 7. This is always the root, so F7. F minor 7, that's the third box of the bottom row. And then minor 7 flat 5. Which I can play this way or this way. Remember, if this is too fast, if I'm going too fast, you can slow down the video by clicking on that gear icon and just picking the speed of the video, a slower speed, obviously. Again, if you don't know how to generate these chords, how these chords are built, at the bottom of the page, you can see there are the formula. A major 7 chord is built by the first, third, fifth, and seventh note of a major scale. Then I have or first, third, fifth, and seventh, major 7 intervals, so to speak, by relating the other notes to the root. A dominant 7 chord is the same chord with a flattened 7. Then a minor 7 chord is the same chord with not only a flat 7 but a flat 3 as well. And the minor 7 flat 5. No surprises there, also has the flat 5. Okay, so I mean, this is a very, very quick explanation. It's not the explanation of how to build chords, is not the goal of this video. I will link down in a pinned comment other videos that explain how to build chords and other pages on my blog on how to build chords on my website. So for now, let's just get moving. I just want you to learn these shapes by practice and by understanding on how to find them on the guitar. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to look at, a harmonized scale is nothing but the sum of all the chords contained within a key. Okay. So if I start and harmonize and stack up all the notes in a particular way on a major scale, I come up with this series of chords: C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G dominant 7, A minor 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and then I end up again to C major 7. So you can see that I am using some of the shapes, if not all of those shapes actually, the major 7 shape from C and F, because that's the root of the A string, and you can notice that I've used that the first shape on the second row of that page that we saw minutes ago. So again, there are 3 minor chords in that harmonized scale: D minor, E minor 7, and A minor 7. Same shape. As you can see, I'm using the same shape. And then I have G dominant 7, just 1 dominant chord and 1 half diminished chord, which is from B here on the 14th fret. Probably play down here as well on the 2nd fret. B half diminished, minor 7 flat 5. So again, I can do the same with the other shapes that I've learned. Let's just make an example from G. So we'll have G, A minor 7, or you can play that way as I said, B minor 7, C major 7, D dominant 7, E minor 7. This is tricky, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. And then I go back to G major 7. So I can do the same with the other set of shapes. And let's do the example in F, harmonized scale in F, which is the middle row. Okay, so now I've learned my harmonized scale by using those 7 shapes. Let's try and use them in context now. I've now picked a page from the real book, which is a jazz standard. Some of you might recognize as a tune by Miles Davis. This is all in, but it's just a bunch of chords. Okay, that's all I'm interested in. A bunch of chords that are 7 chords. So I can look at the first row, E minor 7, and I found it here. Remember when I played the harmonized scale? E minor 7, A 7. Let's try and find, rather than jump down here to keep, that's too far. I want to find something relatively close. So I'm going to use that one. Okay, so, and then I need D major 7. This is quite common to go, obviously this is a 2-5-1. It's, you know, people that are in the know of this kind of stuff, functional harmony. So E, A, D, E minor 7, A, dominant 7, D, major 7. Let's pick the second. Let's look at the second row. Let's look at the second line. D minor 7, G7, C major 7. So let's try now to find another way of doing this. So because I picked D minor 7 starting on the A string, let's try one that starts on the E string. That one, D minor 7, that's the root D, and that's the shape with the root on the E string. And I want G7, that's the closest one, root on the A string, and then C major 7. So let's play these two lines. E minor 7, A7, D major 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Let's try and find one that for the next line, C minor 7, F7, B major 7, that has the root on the D string. So C minor 7 will be here, F7 will be here, and B flat major 7 will be there. So you see I've not moved very much. Then I have E flat major 7, then again E minor 7, A7, and B flat major 7, and so on. You see that all it is now is just a matter of, it's a bit of a puzzle. That's basically it, really. That's a great point to start to then add extensions and all that. But trust me, so much music is built around 7th chords. If you think of, you know, blues, funk, jazz, a lot of pop music, maybe now the more modern R&B stuff is more extensions. But if you want to go beyond the, you know, the simple chords or the chunky bar chords, I think this is the next step, so to speak. So try to practice this. Go back, obviously, on the video. You can stop the video, make some stills of these pages for you as a reference. All right, take care. As always, subscribe, check out the pinned comment for the other videos, and leave a comment if you have any questions and all that. Take care. Bye-bye.